Hi guys, welcome to day 13 of the Path of Destiny, where we are doing 14 days to kickstart your healing and purpose, to align you with what you are here to do, God's purpose, even if you're in trauma. So we've gone through the last 12 days: submission, innocence, courts of heaven, curses, double-mindedness, and creating emotional stability, working through fear, fragments, killing the flesh, patience. And today we're going to be talking about starting your ministry. Now, before I start, I just want to preface that the way that God works through people is completely different. But I want to just share my experience, and I believe He is going to do, especially if you are here and my ministry resonates with you, the way that, especially if you're going through so much spiritual oppression, targeting, all this sort of stuff, then, you've been through a lot. You need to learn all the things in order for you to start your ministry. But allow the Lord to just give you your own revelation in this space, or later as these seeds are planted. Because some people really, in their heart, they know that they want to work for the Lord, but they're not able to. But when I started this ministry in July last year, 2025, well, I didn't actually launch this till August. Before that, I was in another ministry. I'd been in a ministry for almost a year. We'd started September, October 2024. And I'd started it with somebody else. I didn't realize at the time, but the person I was working with was very controlling. I thought they were being organized, but the Lord later showed me how controlling and how much it was actually suppressing my gifts, and it was putting me off course. And as soon as I stepped away from that, and because I realized that this person wasn't actually working with the Holy Spirit, and so I felt like I was going to be condemned. So I fully submitted to the Lord. I was just like, I'm sorry. And I was totally prepared to not do any sort of healing whatsoever. If it's your will, I won't do any of it. And he was like, no, you're not doing this anymore. And I was just like, oh. So from there, as soon as I cut off, emotionally, energetically, and I was just like, yeah, whatever you want me to do, sir, I'm doing it. That's kind of how I felt. Like, I wasn't attached to the outcome. I didn't, as much as I'd invested money and time into doing that ministry. If God tells you not to do something, you do it. And I felt very much convicted. And as soon as I did that, he told me, you're starting your own ministry. This is what you're doing. Showed me everything, like the thumbnails, the logo, everything the Lord showed me. And I was like, okay. And he just said, just use your name. And I was like, okay. And he later told me about On the Cross ministry. Actually, I think he had shared with me a while ago, and I'd totally forgotten. And then he reminded me, and I was like, I couldn't even remember the name. And I had to ask a friend, and she was like, yeah, On the Cross. And I was like, oh yeah, that I totally forgot. That's really good. And funnily, and I thought that it was something that a lot of ministries would have, but it would appear not. Anyway, but before actually taking a step to start a ministry, even though I've started two ministries, before that, if you were to ask me, would you start a ministry? I would have said, no, well, I'm not a priest. I guess that was my perception. But if we look back on when I moved into this healing space, I spent years trying to find my purpose. And I actually hired a coach who was like a purpose coach. And when he said, oh, he coaches people to find their purpose, I was like, oh, actually, I would really be interested to find my purpose. And he taught me how to release emotions, right? And so as soon as I'd started doing it with some clients, uh, intuitively I was able to go and do this, and I was like, oh, this, I'm really good at this. This is something I didn't even know existed. But then when I found Jesus, that's when I cut everything off. And I didn't realize, I thought I was doing New Age. Actually, I didn't go too deep into the New Age. All I was doing was feeling the energies, and which is what we're doing in this ministry. It's like we're being in the spirit, we're feeling, we're seeing, the Lord is showing, but you know, it's obviously different. It's a completely different experience. But I didn't give my heart to Christ till I found out the truth, which was January 2024. And in that process, I didn't go to church, I didn't do anything. I was just praying, and I guess just because we as soon as we got this opportunity to come to America, it was when we had come to Christ. And actually, it might have been late 2023. Anyway, I can't actually remember, but I do know that like the opportunities started to come about when we all, like as a family, like the boys were already learning about Jesus, and their school was a Christian school in the UK, and the beliefs and all that aligned with my beliefs at the time. And but I didn't understand what Jesus did for us. I didn't understand the level of it. Like even just saying it, like, you took our sins, like I didn't even understand that sin was a thing. So um but it wasn't until another year after that, basically, that all of the emotional stuff that I had been working on, I'd broken free to a point where the Lord was like, okay, now and he put it in my heart, now you can do your ministry. And when he touched me in the heart and said, okay, ministry, I was like mentally open. It was a completely different, I just felt him touch my heart, basically. So I spent most of my days not being seen for my gifts, the time that I spent with people. And I know now, and I know people who I know who know me and have seen me struggle will see God working through me, and they have seen me struggle. They've seen me confused, always stuck, never content, anxious, depressed. The list goes on. And I see how God is working in my life, and I don't have to do anything but listen to what he tells me and be with him, and be still in him. And the more, I guess, I do that, the more, or I'm able to do that, because a lot of the time we can't when we're in our trauma. And this is why the Lord wants me to do these healings for you, because he knows how difficult it is to stay, and the devil is a liar, and convincing one at that. So it's so easy to pull you off course. So you have to be emotionally ready. You don't have to be perfect. I don't necessarily feel that you have to have all of your doors closed for you to know what you're doing. But you definitely need to get your house in order. You definitely need to have authority. You definitely need to feel strong, and you definitely need to be broken down in order for the Lord to be able to work through you. And this is the problem that most people have when they're in trauma, is they struggle to submit, because they're so wounded. And when you're so wounded, you become disobedient, you become willful, and you end up being in a place of not receiving. And the negativity starts, and the anger towards God starts. And I've seen this a lot. But once you can get delivered from a lot of these things, once you can see the error of your ways, once you can learn how to quiet your mind and come out of agreement with a lot of things, the Lord will pour his glory out onto you. Because I don't think I'm anything special. I don't, but I do know that he has protected me from harm, and he's kept me innocent, but I do feel like the level of witchcraft I've ever had hasn't affected my innocence. They haven't, and I don't know if this is God's protection or what, but maintaining my innocence and not sinning to the extent which can cause more trouble has allowed me to be safe, I guess. And I've been blessed that my generational stuff hasn't been as bad as some people. But I know that, we need to get to that place of innocence. We need to get to that place of the Lord protecting you. And every part of our flesh that doesn't want to do X, Y, and Z needs to be a thing of the past. You can't fight with God. You can't be rebellious. And recently he showed me that I was sitting with him on the right hand side of him. But in order for me to see myself sitting on the right hand side, a few months ago, I saw myself literally sacrificing myself for him. So my will is never put in there, because when I try and do some stuff myself, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I can't do it without him. And I enjoy the process of seeing what he has in store for me, seeing what the message he wants to deliver, because nobody's interested in like what I'm going to say, but everyone is interested in what the Lord is going to reveal. And that revelation is gold. And it fascinates me. Even when he tells me where to look in the Bible, I'm like, just love it. If you can take anything from this today, is that everything that you've learned has to be embodied and be put together in a way so that you are able to move through in a place that is predictable. And I was telling somebody the other day, we talk about this within the ministry, within like the pastor and everyone, like when we are in trauma, we're like a stallion, and the Lord has given us gifts, right? Everyone's got different gifting. Everyone's got this level of power from God. But the gifting is useless if you cannot be tamed, if you cannot be controlled. It's like a stallion. It needs to be broken in. The Lord needs to be able to ride you. But if you're just bucking all the time because you're like, my trauma, this, that, then he cannot use you. You're not rideable. He can't take you anywhere. You're just going to kick off. So if you can allow yourself to see how the Lord sees you, take yourself away from your suffering as much as you can. Remember, your suffering is from Satan. And so the agreements that you're coming into constantly has an outcome. And the Lord is only going to wait so much. And this really, like knowing this and knowing that disobedience, the Lord will gift your giftings to somebody else. And that's in Isaiah. I can't remember exactly the verse, but when I read that, I was like, oh dear Lord, don't do this to me. That would be awful. Like, that would be failure. And that wasn't an option. I'm okay with failing, of getting it wrong, but to the point where I'm being punished for it by God, no, that is too scary for me. So I hope that makes sense. I've waffled on quite a bit about this, but if you've got any questions, please let me know. But any ministry that you're doing, you have to know, like there's that, when he puts it in your heart, you know the truth. And the words flow out in such a way that you know it's not you. You see it and you haven't even tried thinking about it. You know it's not you. But again, that is through the submission, it's through the innocence, it's through the healing, and it's by killing your flesh and being open. and asking the Lord, please use me, please use me, please use me. And He will. He will give you everything, but you have to be usable. Okay, so thank you guys for listening. I pray that you receive this in your heart and that your ministry is, it goes like clappers. And yeah, tag me your ministry as well. If you've just started, we will share the love here. Bless you, love you, and I'll see you on the last one tomorrow, day 14, your gifts. Bye for now.